Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Evelyn the Advocate. We have a guest here with us today, Miss Ida Crawford, to talk about recognizing a narcissistic personality. Ida, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Good day, everyone. And Evelyn, thank you so much for the invitation here. I really, really appreciate this. And my company is Just Minding My Business Media, and we are a podcast company that interviews business owners all across the globe.
You also had stated that you've had experience with a narcissistic personality. Would you like to tell the audience a little bit about that?
I come from the generation that didn't have names for behaviors. And then once I reflected back to different things that has happened to me over my lifetime, I realized that it was narcissistic behavior. And being married for over 25 years is when I really noticed it, because at that point I had actually begun to work on me and my inner core and understand what's being presented in front of me in terms of narcissism. My husband would make me feel like I was cheating. And when I tried to defend myself, it was like I was a liar. And it became evident to me at that point. First of all, I wasn't lying. Secondly, why are you calling me a liar when I'm telling you the truth? So there were numerous arguments surrounding that behavior. And what I finally realized is that was insecurity on his part.
Did you ever find yourself losing who you were when you were involved with the person with the narcissistic personality? Did you ever lose yourself as an individual?
Well, in my first marriage, I did. I lost myself completely. I didn't even know what kind of ice cream I liked. It was a serious loss. It took me over a year to literally find me. And in that moment, I prayed to God to never allow this to happen to me again. The first time you're in a marital situation, you don't know the rules. You go into it with this Cinderella type mindset, not really realizing it's going to be a huge amount of work. Your partner in the beginning is more of a factuation kind of thing until you start living the day-to-day life, then you start to see certain behaviors. And for me, it was in both marriages, that's what I encountered, no trust. It was basically because he was doing the things that he accused me of. He pretty much put that on me like I was doing something wrong, when in fact, I was not.
How did you find yourself again, Ida, after those experiences of dealing with that type of personality trait?
Well, it was a huge process. It was a lot of crying. It was a lot of telling myself that I am somebody, I am worthy, just building my self-esteem back up. And it took a year or two to get that done. It wasn't an overnight activity. It was a daily ritual of literally looking in the mirror and telling myself that I'm beautiful, that I have a lot to offer to the world. And this was an everyday occurrence until I believed it.
Did you go to therapy, or would you say that you were on a spiritual sabbatical or just a spiritual journey getting to know yourself? How did you handle your situation?
It was a spiritual journey all the way because I believe in the Holy Spirit, and I believe if you come to Him with all of your heart, that He will guide your steps in any situation. My journey right now is more or less about my spirituality and my peace, because at this point in my life, I was married for over 25 years to one person and then a couple of years to another one. So my focus right now is being able to live a peaceful life and not letting anyone, under no circumstances, rock that.
Do you still have a relationship with the people that you were married to?
No, and it's so funny. Once we split, our paths never, ever, ever passed again.
So you just chose to go no contact.
Yes, I mean, it's how God did it. I didn't do it. He did it that way.
Okay. Well, when he does it, you know it's perfect and sweet.
Yes, and my second husband, he passed away after over 25 years of marriage, and so that was that. And we were able to resolve those issues going forward because I was animate about letting it be known as to what I'm seeing. Whether you believe it or not, that's not even, I don't really care. What I know is what's in what I see and what I believe. And if you want me to see something different, then you need to do something different.
That's called using your voice and advocating for yourself. And that I believe many people need to do that because if not, they'll just continue to be miserable and always questioning themselves within the relationship.
Yes. And I mean, I always analyze me as well because I'm not perfect. I might say something or do something, and I'm the first person to say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way. It came out wrong, and so forth and so on.
That's important. And you made a great point. The self reflection and self evaluation, because nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes.
Yes.
The
Yes, we
difference
do.
is some of us are willing to admit those mistakes, and some of us will never admit to making a mistake. And I think that's where the problem comes in at.
Absolutely. There's no man on this earth perfect. And once you've embraced that, then life becomes a whole lot easier in your day to day walk. And being humble enough to say, you know what, I messed up. That came out all wrong. I am so, so sorry. And mean it, but not, say you're sorry and then continue the same activity and
Because from
behavior.
what I've learned, we all can display some of those personality traits. That does not mean that we are narcissists, but we are human. And
Yes.
sometimes we can display some of those traits. But I think where the problem comes in at is where it happens constantly and it's always a battle. And the person that's doing it will never admit that they're doing something wrong. That's where the major problems come in at, I believe.
Yes. I believe the same thing. I mean, you got to acknowledge. Acknowledgement is healing. You can't heal if you don't acknowledge that there's an issue.
Self reflection is very important because I check myself. I check myself daily. I'm on a journey now where I'm checking myself so much it's almost led to silence. And there's nothing wrong with it. But other people may perceive because I'm being quiet that there's something wrong. There's nothing wrong. I'm checking myself.
Yes, I'm with you on that. And just recently, back in I think somewhere around July of last year, I went into a serious quiet mode because I felt like something had happened in my life that really kind of rocked my world a little bit. And I needed to look at everything, every single thing, and determine whether or not it was still serving me or do I need to get rid of this? Because, and it was well needed. And I'm glad I did it because on the other side of that, I was able to get rid of things that I was holding on to. It didn't even matter.
I
And
think when you're quiet, you think better, you
yes,
can process things better, you can hear better, you can definitely recognize what's going on around you. That's been
yes,
my
absolutely.
experience.
Yes. And it's very important. I call it the inside out work. It's a daily activity. At the end of the day, I keep a journal, what happened in my day? What did I learn from my day? What can I do better the next day?
That's awesome. That's an awesome strategy to use. And I
Because it
think,
keeps me
go ahead, Miss Ida.
it keeps me humble. It keeps me in check because we can go to the left with the quickness. It seems like there's no problem with going left.
Think some people probably wouldn't be able to have a journal because I don't think they would want to look back at it. Toxic people with toxic behaviors, I don't think they would want to write that down, but they should. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe they can look within and improve things about themselves.
Yes, and at the end of the day, the more work we do on ourselves, the better our lives become, and the better we are able to project with other people, because other people are going to feel it. They're going to feel that you are working on yourself. They're going to feel that difference.
And health wise, when you are a negative person and you display negative personality traits, I believe that can affect your health tremendously. I know it affected mine at one point.
Absolutely. I mean, that is so true. The body works in, the spirit, your mindset, your physical, everything is connected. Everything is connected. And when you are out of balance in one area, it affects other areas, most definitely.
I know when I was off balance, I had to go to the doctor for like 2 years straight to an endocrinologist so many times and having blood work drawn and tests and things like that, and nobody is worth me going through that process again. That's why I protect my peace and I
Mm.
protect my circle. I'm not going to let anything enter within me. No information, no behaviors, no anything that would affect my health again. Because I was
Wow.
very sick.
I
And
definitely know exactly where you're coming from.
I'm grateful to God that God is a healer, though. I am so grateful that He healed me and He has us on this journey. Now that we recognize what's happening, that's what
Amen.
this is about. We want to put this information out to the masses so they can get the simple secrets about how to heal and what healing looks like and what happens when you are healed, what kind of journey you can go on, what opportunities will come to you when you're walking in a healed space. That's what this platform is about.
And I definitely thank you, Dr. Evelyn, for all that you do to bring that truth to people, because there's so many people out there struggling and don't know where to start, don't know where to begin. And I just say, begin with Jesus. Start there.
That's the best place to begin. And I think after you've dealt with a person or people with narcissistic personality traits, it's very important for you to have a routine. Like you said, you journal. But because I didn't grow up in a structured environment as an adult, I have a lot of structure. I have routines that I go by also, and that kind of keeps me on track rather than doing things randomly and using all of my energy towards something that may not even matter. I just stick with my routine daily.
Yes, and everybody is different. Everybody is going to conquer those demons in a different way, and that's okay. As long as you get to the other side, that's all that matters.
I hope that God will allow them to have a way to give them a way. They find their way to conquer their demons. You're right about that because everybody is different. Nobody is the same, but when you focus on good, positive things, change your mindset, hopefully you will be able to get a routine where you can be a much happier, healthier person and conquer your demons in the way that you conquer them and not in a toxic manner.
Absolutely, because toxicity creates its own set of problems that affect you health wise, mentally, and spiritually.
I just think it's important to be in control of your mindset because
Yeah.
I'm guilty of this sometimes. I must admit this. Maybe because of past traumas, I can be in a specific situation. And every once in a while, my mind will try to make me look at the situation in a negative manner. But it's not negative. You have to be aware of that because that
Mhm.
can dictate your behaviors, your mood, and everything else. Do you find that to be true? And I think that's after I had contact with narcissistic people.
Absolutely. I mean, and when you think about how our thoughts work, it's pairs, it's negative and positive. When something happens, we immediately go to the negative side with the quickness, but then we have to evaluate that negativity and let the positive energy overpower.
I'm working on that. That's what I'm doing because the enemy is something, it will make you look at a situation like it's something bad, and then all the while it's good. But on my
Yeah.
healing journey, I'm practicing on getting more control of my mind and my thought patterns. That's what I'm doing because after those bad relationships that I was in, I really needed to work in that area.
And it's constant work. We got to work on that like daily, all day long, because people are going to come at us, test our patience, test other things. And what I'm learning is to respond as opposed to react. And that has made a huge difference because instead of reacting immediately, I might sit back. It might take me a day or two to process all of it and find the good in it.
We previously did an episode on that, and that's called gray rocking, the gray rock method. And I found out that I've been using the gray rock method for years and didn't know what it was called, but it's not giving a direct response. You can respond, but just do it with few words, directly. And you can just be like a gray rock. You can be in that situation, but you can be kind of like just there. And that's what we talked about. And that is a healthy method to use because sometimes when a situation arises, when you respond directly, depending on your emotional state, you can get yourself in a situation if
Who
you
you
don't know what
telling?
you're doing.
Who you telling? Been there, done that. So I
So
know
it's
it don't
good
work.
to respond. It's good to process things before you respond. But
Yes,
that's what I'm
absolutely.
working on, and all this education that God has given us and all this information, I'm really practicing it in my life, and it's making a big difference. It's made me a better person.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's hard work, but the work is worth it. Every bit of it, because, I look at myself, let's say 10 years ago. I am no way that person I used to be. And I'm at a place now where I can almost not even remember that person because I have changed and evolved so much that I can't even identify who that person even was. And my saying is every day I strive to be better than I was yesterday.
I've been on a healing journey for a couple of years, but I've been on a serious purging healing journey for almost a year now, just being in isolation and
Mhm.
just focusing on me and my behaviors. And since I decided to do that, amazing things have happened.
And it will. And it definitely will. I mean, I can see that in my life as well. I don't have a big crowd around me. I got a better relationship with God.
Number
A whole
one.
lot of things has happened that I am so in awe of. And I love this journey that I'm on and I'm sticking to it.
I've asked number one, my relationship with God is stronger and better. And I've asked God to change my heart and to change my thought patterns and to change things about me. And it's happening. And I'm happy
Yeah.
to say that.
Yes, I'm happy as well. And anybody out there, the work, the pain, sometimes you're not going to get it right, but recognizing, okay, I messed up this time. Let me just keep it moving and keep trying. It is all so worth it. And you feel so good in your skin when
And
you know that you're
sometimes
doing the work.
sometimes it seems lonely, but one thing we can't forget is God will never leave us. He's always there with us. The people that you expect to be there, sometimes they're not even around, but God is always with you. He'll never leave you.
You got that right. Amen to that.
Well, Miss Ida B. Crawford, it's been awesome speaking with you today.
Yes, I truly enjoyed this, and you have uplifted my heart. You have actually made this day better than I thought it was going to be. So thank you, Evelyn, for this opportunity to be able to share and to be able to support anybody that might be watching or listening with my journey. So thank you so much.
You are very welcome. I thank you.